Welcome back to Crypto Front. This is the front line where we are fighting together side by side for financial freedom. And of course, these days we literally have to do some fighting. It hasn't been easy. I mean, take a look at this, right? The last 6-7 Fridays after Trump has won the election, 17th of January, the Trump token was launched. And of course, with that, we saw it pulling liquidity from a lot of altcoins, right? And then, of course, they were dumping bigly on that weekend. The next one, we saw the deep sea crash. After that, the Trump tariff on Canada, the market was also crashing big time. After that, we had the Libra launch. That was just last week. Disaster. As if that wasn't enough, just yesterday, 21st of February, Bybit was hacked $1.5 billion in terms of Ethereum. The market, naturally speaking, has to react to that. But I would have to say that this is actually far much better than I would have anticipated. Maybe, just maybe, we haven't seen the full effects of this like hack on the crypto market. But I was really surprised with the way that even the Ethereum price chart really didn't move that much. I'll show you later in today's video, but here we want to focus much more on what the Jasmy price chart is doing, because again, Jasmy is still part and parcel of this market and it will be affected each and every single weekend we are having this kind of drama in the market. Jasmy itself has been having its own drama, because right here, when the chart has broken the support level, we saw Hara coming up and it was saying that we purchased something like $500,000 of Jasmy, just to give, market participants a bit of much more assurance. And of course, hours from there, we saw Jasmy really doing well. This has been happening, of course, within this descending triangle. So yesterday, right before the hack, Jasmy had actually broken out. I was really ready to make a video to say that, okay, we are getting all the confirmations that we need from Jasmy. And the market was like, no, not yet. The news about Bybit just dropped and it has been down ever since then. So we'll see. I mean, generally speaking, the reaction of the market has been a little bit much calmer than I anticipated. Part of that, I think, is because Bybit was shown support by a lot of industry players like Binance. We are seeing also CZ himself, even people like Justin Tron, a lot of other different exchanges, by even the Solana blockchain, and a whole bunch of people came in to support Bybit. And I think even in terms of money, they were loaning them because they wanted to facilitate the withdrawals, right? So up until this point, no user directly has been denied, withdrawals or anything like that. So everything is looking okay at this point. But the question is, are we out of the woods yet, right? Now, this is happening on a weekend, but we don't have to forget that even leading up to this moment, before the hack was announced, we were seeing one of the worst days in 2025 in the stock market. Like $900 billion was just being wiped out in terms of market cap for the stock market. So if the stock market opens badly on Monday, we could see another round of bad price action. Let me just put it like that. And I mean, another thing that we have to notice here is the Russell 2000, which is also another index in the stock market, and it's sitting right on top of the trend line right there. So Monday is very critical here. Are we going to be breaking this, or we're going to be pushing towards the upside? I think crypto will react according to that, because this thing really just moves relative to what the crypto market does. So let's come back to Jasmy, because I know that you tuned in for Jasmy. But before we get there, I want to kindly ask you to help me spread the video just by delicately tapping the like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm, and people looking for Jasmy content will now be able to find this video much more easily. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, because I do TA on Jasmy and a number of other different altcoins on a regular basis. So let's go here. We're looking at the descending triangle, right? So this thing is looking very much crazy at this point because of, I would say market manipulation. Right? Hara was trying to do something here. He succeeded. And then, of course, Bybit was like, what? Not so fast. So the Jasmy price chart is, again, hovering around the support level, which is by around 2.1 cents. Now, what we have seen with Jasmy in the recent weeks or something like that, it's really has been respectful to trend lines, right? So once it's breaking trend lines, it's going down and it's going fast. So I mean, take a look at this one here that we were just having yesterday. There was a support, a trend line right there. Then once it was broken, it slides out. Then we're also seeing pretty much the same thing right here too, right? You respect the trend line, break it, it slides out. Then we also had pretty much the same scenario right here too. Once you are, breaking that support level there, it slides out pretty much. So we are faced with almost a scenario like this today, in which we can see that, okay, we have been maintaining this right there. This is, of course, it's not as big as the other ones, but I'm just looking at it and say, okay, well, what happens if we break this trend line here for Jasmy? We're going to be going for another round towards the downside. It really remains to be seen, but there is something like that here that has been happening with trend lines on Jasmy. They've been really respected, and if you happen to violate them, you're dumping towards the downside one more time, right? However, I think that, we have to look at these things from a long-term perspective, because if we just concentrate on the short-term perspective here for Jasmy, I don't think it would do us much help, because, take a look at how this thing, it looks stupid, right? It doesn't make any sense. But on the 4-hourly time frame, maybe you can come up with a little bit of conclusions right there. So I would actually say that the kind of times that we are in here requires us to know, like what can we expect for Jasmy to do in the next 2 months, next 3 months or something like that. And for that, I've just been talking about Ethereum time and again. I'm saying that, everything here is with Ethereum, and maybe a lot of people don't understand what I mean by everything depends on Ethereum. So in this market, I would say maybe 80 to 85% of the tokens, they are ERC20 tokens. So they are based on Ethereum, right? So even their liquidity pools are Ethereum based. It happens to be an ERC20 token as well. So most of its liquidity is also in Ethereum. Now, what happens when the liquidity, which is Ethereum, goes and drops by 10%? It means that Jasmy automatically has to drop by 10%. You understand? Now, we're not even talking about, the amount of Jasmy that has been sold. So eventually, when people now start, trading Jasmy and selling Jasmy and stuff like that, then the price even drops further. So that's why it's important to have a healthy Ethereum. And it also means that automatically the other altcoins that have got like a liquidity that is based on Ethereum, they are also stable. Now, up until this point, we haven't had like a great one in Ethereum. And that's why you're also seeing that a lot of altcoins are struggling very much. Now the question becomes, can Ethereum survive this hack that it has just had? I would say that, yeah, the money that has been stolen from Ethereum is only 0.42% of the total supply. So even if those tokens were dumped at once on the market, they really will not crash the price very much. But I would say that in the kind of environment that we are in the market where there is a lot of negative news, yeah, people will be scared. But if we really want to look at things objectively, we have to understand that what has happened in moments like these ones when we've had capitulations and very negative sentiment in the market, like also this time around here at the bottom of the bear market with the FTX collapse and stuff like that, we're also seeing pretty much the same thing right around August here. I think I've said this time and again that, these moments have always marked bottoms. We are going through a moment like this one here. I've just been showing you what it has been like in the last 5 Fridays. But take notice of where the chart is. It's sitting on a massive support level. So again, my bias is that we're already at the bottom of the market. But market players know exactly what they are doing here. All the negative news will come at the very bottom. This has been the case ever since, right? In fact, if you want to go with the amount of liquidation that has been happening in this market, right, the one that we had 3 weeks ago, it might not have been big in terms of its, percentage towards the downside, but the amount of dollars which were lost here were much bigger than the amount of money lost here, here, and here combined. So that's how big this thing is. And time and again, I've been saying that, look, if we want to be drawing any lessons from the past, we have to go back and see how things were looking back then, right? So what we notice is that if we take the chart and put it maybe on a 4-hourly time frame, we're seeing very consistent patterns with these kind of liquidation events. Let me just reiterate those things one more time. You see, we've got a liquidation event right there. The price that reacts immediately the next 2 days or something like that, then it always sets this boundary on the very top, which you can see right there. Once that boundary is broken, this is your green light to say that this was the bottom, right? And we're going to push even higher. So that was the first example right there, right? I will show you again. I'm sure some of you have seen my previous videos on this, and but repeating this thing is also very much important. So look at this, is the crash, right? The liquidation event that happens, the price immediately reacts, right? Then it sets a top boundary right there. You just work yourself below that. But the moment you're out of there, right, that is indicating that this right there was the bottom. And from here, it's going to be up, 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 just as you can see here with Ethereum, right? That was exactly the same case, even with the 2020 COVID-19 announcement. Like this one here, if there was like any moment to justify selling crypto, was here because, potentially the world was going to come to an end, right? So with those fears, we saw a massive crash right there. The price reacts immediately, sets a range on top right there. Once you break that, test it, you're off and away, you're going. That was just marking the bottom. So this is exactly how these things have played in the past. Now, if we come back to the current price section where we are today, we are seeing exactly the same story being played. Another thing that is very much consistent with liquidation events like this is when you are doing this, the news is not good. It's the worst that it can ever be. It's FUD after FUD after FUD after FUD after FUD. So it's not going to be easy for somebody who doesn't have conviction to hold cryptocurrency in these moments right there. So now what we want to see from Ethereum, right? And we were doing this yesterday. This is the craziest part. Look at where we had gotten right to the top. It's $2,800, right? $2,850 we even reached. Now what we needed was $2,900 to break above $2,900. And we say, okay, this thing is done, right? We're looking to push towards the upside, but this is exactly. So that's why, sometimes you feel like we're not living real life. We're living in some kind of a simulation, because who really has the power to time such a hack right when this is like a pivotal moment, right? It's really interesting sometimes when you see these things, this kind of news and narratives, honestly, they don't feel real at times. But this is the moment we are in right now with Ethereum. Again, what we just need is something like 2,900, we close daily candles above that level, then everything is okay, right? So right now, I may not know how big of an event the Bybit was in terms of like its effects in the coming few days or something like that. But one thing that I can take a look at as an indicator is to see, is Ethereum breaking out of its range here, just as we have seen in previous liquidation events, as similar to the one that we're currently having right now. And once this is confirmed, yeah, be rest assured that the Jasmy price, that again, remember, it's an ERC20 token. Its liquidity pools are very much dependent on Ethereum, very much. And you can see better price action here from Jasmy. However, let's say that, this Ethereum price decides to say, well, this is probably not the time to break out. We want to go sideways one more time here, and it takes longer. What's going to happen is that, number one, a lot of other altcoin holders are going to capitulate, right? It's time to leave, I'm going. They sell their altcoins. At the same time, if Ethereum is ranging here, you can see that the ranges can be as big as minus 12% towards the downside and then push towards the upside. I mean, it's pretty much stuck in the same area, but this can be wild, right? Minus 11%, minus 10% and stuff like that. How do you think this affects the Jasmy price at where it is, right? Let's say Jasmy also drops 1:1 with Ethereum right there, and it goes down something like 12% or 15%, you're now looking at 1.75 cents or something like that. So just be on the outlook of a scenario like this one, in my humble opinion, that we may not be done here with Ethereum, right? It totally depends on what Ethereum does here. So what I'm trying to say here is that in the next few days, the market is really looking for a direction where to go, right? How does that look like? It may look like, ranging once again, which I'm saying that they can be big percentages here for Ethereum. Then at the same time, if we happen to break towards the upside, then that's good. Let's come back here to Jasmy and see how this can affect Jasmy. Of course, if Ethereum is going to be breaking out of that 2,900 range, right? Be rest assured that we can also be seeing Jasmy pumping very much strongly. I don't see a scenario in which Ethereum is doing well and Jasmy is not reacting at all. I just don't see a scenario like that. So that will be a positive. We break that range. However, if Ethereum decides to go ahead and range a little bit, and we're talking about those 14% drop down towards the downside, still maintaining the range, then we can also be expecting a little bit of a crazier scenario here for Jasmy. Because what you see here on the 1 weekly time frame is that, yeah, Jasmy has not reached its lowest support levels yet, right? You can see this whole range of support here. Yeah, we are still just hanging on top of it. I'm thinking about it and I'm looking at it every day. I'm saying, okay, I'm really entertaining the idea of saying Jasmy drops down one more time, something like another minus 20% towards something like maybe 1.7, 1.6 cents, thereabout, is the main support level. Now, for me, this is a no-brainer. I have to buy this whole thing. I just have to, because, I mean, it's obvious, my technical analysis 101. So, yeah, right now I'm not buying any Jasmy. I don't think I need to, because I have had some Jasmy ever since back here in 2022. But should the price be reaching 1.7 cents here, I think I'm very much open to buying Jasmy price set. Now, of course, if we're dropping further than that, this is not a scenario that I want, and I'm going to be putting a stop loss right there, maybe 15% lower than that or something like that, maybe 10% even. So we'll see how the whole thing plays out. So very much open to all scenarios here. We're just waiting for some kind of a market shift, like a big market shift here. If we see Ethereum breaking that $2,900, then number one, we at least understand that the hack really didn't have an effect, right? Then of course, in the coming days, we have to assess the solvency of Bybit, because if Bybit is to go down, we have seen in the past how bad things can get with FTX and stuff like that. But I would say that generally speaking, where the market is right now with all the negative sentiment that you are seeing, fear and greed index right around 35% and stuff like that, these are all earmarks of a bottom to come in here. You're also seeing a lot of people capitulating here on the Jasmy price. So people don't have hope on Jasmy. If they call it a scam, they say that as soon as Jasmy goes up, I'm going to be buying into Bitcoin and things like that. Yeah. All of these things are earmarks of say that, the bottom is closer than we expect. Now, you heard me talking about 20% here. Yeah, I mean, it's really something that is very much significant. But in this market, minus 20% is a normal Tuesday. It happens like every now and then. So again, it's not something that should be worrisome in any case, because I think that's still the Jasmy price that is looking very good. I'll come up with an update probably tomorrow. We'll talk about that more in tomorrow's video. But I want to thank you so much for watching the video. If you could, please delicately tap the like button, share the video with your friends and family, and then I would have to see you on the very next one. Take really, really good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.